Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is DeemGW, and today I'm going to be talking about how we are our own worst enemy, how we are the ones who create our own suffering from the non-dual perspective. Alright, so if you'd like to skip to the summary section, then you can find it somewhere around me and in the description box below. So then let's get started. Well, how are we our own worst enemy? What does that even mean? Well, we are the ones that self-sabotage our existence, just in general, the way we live. Most of the time, like 99.9999999% of people live in a state of total resistance towards their life, believe it or not. And how do we do this? We do this by separation, by separating the world, or dissecting the world, or categorizing, or classifying the world, all right? And how do we do this? Well, we do this by words, by descriptions. So what do I mean by that? So the world is already whole the way that it is, and it's already perfect, and everything is appropriate there. However, what we do, we start to put like labels, right? We're labeling things as correct, incorrect, appropriate, inappropriate, valid, invalid, right, wrong, and so on and so forth. And because of that, we corrupt its wholeness, right? Because the world is already finished, is already perfect, but we make it not perfect with our mind. This is our mind doing the job. So first of all, the input is there, like without filtering. Then the filtering process happens through the middleman, so to speak, which is our mind. And then we get the processed information. The information is, oh, that's an incorrect thing, or that's the way that person behaved towards me is definitely unacceptable. So, and that's why we start to live in a state of total resistance. Separating the world into things does not allow us actually to see the wholeness of life, the wholeness, the fact that it's finished, that the fact that everything is okay, the whole picture, right? And because of that, we are creating basically a me that has its own opinions. It's like basically a subject. A me is a subject that has its own opinions, its own evaluations, its own definitions, its own expectations, its own viewpoints, its own attitudes, its own, you name it, right? Analysis, comparison, and so on and so forth. And here's the thing, as long as you are in the subject-object relationship to the world, as long as you are describing the world and putting it in, and classifying it somehow, you are not in your authentic nature, so to speak. Because the world or reality is indescribable, and the moment you start to describe it, you are already corrupting it, and you're not able to see what you're seeing right in front of your face, what has been there your whole life. Basically, you have been able to see this when you were a child, most likely, which is why children see the beauty and the wonder in everything, right? But probably right now you're not able to enter this state so easily. And why is it so? Because you have this unconscious processing mechanism, unconscious filtering. And that means that instead of experiencing life the way that it actually is, we are experiencing our stories about how life is supposed to be, how it should be, or how it could have been, how it should have been, how it's supposed to be, right? So for example, you just notice a narcissist or something, or you have a narcissist in your life, and then you're thinking, you know what, narcissists are not supposed to exist here in general, in this world. But then guess what? Your eyes are not lying to you, and your sense perceptions, they don't lie to you. So what you see in the world is what it is. It is what it is. And if you see these types of people, then you can either agree with this, agree with the fact that they exist, not agree with their behavior, okay? So you agree with the fact that they exist, and therefore you do not resist life. You do not resist the reality of life. And the reality is, well, unfortunately, there are those types of people, and they will be. They're not going to leave anytime soon, I think. And maybe another example is you see someone cutting in line, for example, and then you're just thinking to yourself, or maybe you have like a sensation or a feeling like, how dare this person do this, right? Because he or she would not have liked if someone cut in line right before them, right? So why would they do this? But then guess what? There are people with different consciousness levels, and then what you're expecting, maybe you're expecting them to be on a different consciousness level, and that is not in line with reality. That does not match reality, and that's how we are suffering. That's how we are suffering, by creating the stories of how people are supposed to be, or how situations should go, not in line with reality, with the way that it actually is going right here, right now, right? When you are separating reality into pieces, then you create conflict. You create conflict with the here and now. And conflict with the here and now, that's a recipe for suffering. You will always suffer as long as you are in constant conflict and constant resistance to here and now. And in general, like when you're highlighting your personality and oppose it, or compare it to everything else, then you are already dissecting or cutting, or corrupting the whole picture, and therefore that creates suffering. You cannot not suffer when you are dissecting reality. This is basically like, if you want to have a metaphor, is when people are looking at different waves as just waves, right? So you can describe them, oh, that's a tall wave, that's a short wave, that's a more powerful wave, that's a weaker wave, or something like that. But then if you really take a global picture, you might see that, hey, maybe there's no such thing as waves. Maybe it is all just ocean, and that's it. These are just, seemingly parts of ocean, seemingly separate parts, but they are actually part of the same thing. So if you are seeing reality from this point of view, that every single thing fits here, right now, right here, right now, even the most disgusting things, when you're going to see them as fitting and as perfect puzzle pieces of reality, then that's going to bring you peace. That's going to bring you what they call equanimity. And you're going to be able to just relax and be in a state of flow and allow life to be exactly what it is. At the same time, that does not mean that you have to be a doormat, right? So you're not allowing other people to overstep or just disrespect your boundaries. That's not what I'm talking about. You're just going to be in a relaxed peace of state. In a relaxed state of peace. No, what I'm talking about is that you're going to be relaxed and allowing life to happen just in front of you. And therefore you will definitely let go of a gigantic amount of suffering. And you know what? When you stop separating or you stop dissecting the world, then you stop the conflict with reality, of course, with the here and now. And then what remains is just love. Real love, actually, unconditional love towards everything, right? You're not going to have any resistance, and the love is going to be real. And you will understand that, hey, before this type of experience, my love was not really real, if you want to call it that way. It was some type of attachment or some type of aversion. You're just trying maybe to run from something, maybe run from a fear of loneliness, for example, right? Or there was like a need to have something, you need to control, to manipulate, for example, right? But real love, or like this true unconditional type of wisdom that you're going to be able to get into, you will be able to get into only when you are letting go of personality. You're letting go of this mind need to constantly classify everything. Alright, so thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more videos like this. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section below. And this is it. I wish you all the best, and here's the summary. Have a good one. Bye.